In December 1993, a predator emerged in the shadows of St. Petersburg. He targeted innocent children with brutal violence the world could scarcely believe. This is the true story of Igor Irtyshov, nicknamed the Krasnodar Devil. Igor Anatolievich Irtyshov was born on August 16, 1971, in rural Krasnodar Krai. From childhood, tragedy shadowed him, with both his mother and father being alcoholics. When he was 10, he got into a car accident and got a serious craniocerebral injury as a result. He did not recover from the consequences. He was diagnosed with an intellectual disability in the degree of moderate debility, after which his mother sent him to a special boarding school in which, according to him, he was gang-raped repeatedly. In 1993, he moved to St. Petersburg, where he got a job as a dishwasher at the Pegasus Coffee House, but his main source of income was homosexual prostitution. He was quite popular among his clients for his sadistic inclinations, and also was noted for hysteria, egocentrism, and cowardice. In December 1993, Irtyshov committed his first known atrocity. Inside Sosnovsky Park, he lured two brothers, aged 11 and 12, threatening them with a knife. He forced them to drink a strange-smelling liquid before exploiting them, leaving them with serious injuries. Not long after, in a grim apartment corridor in the Kolpinsky district, he attacked another child. The assault turned fatal. Igor crushed the boy's throat, claiming he didn't intend to kill but was drunk and misjudged his strength. In May 1994, Igor would reach a new level of his sadistic nature. He dragged a 10-year-old boy into the attic of a house along Riga Avenue and brutally attacked him. After the act of violence, Igor manually launched an assault so horrific that left the boy permanently disabled. It is noteworthy that all the attacks were committed during the daytime, approximately between 12 and 18 hours, but the perpetrator managed to escape unnoticed. Just a month later, he exploited two more young boys, aged 11 and 12, by the banks of the Neva River. In September, he ambushed a 15-year-old in an elevator, but the boy fought back and escaped. But furious, Igor struck again. On the same day, Igor, angry at his previous failure, committed his eighth and final crime. After brutally assaulting a 9-year-old boy, he proceeded to tear out 30 feet of the victim's intestines. Miraculously, the boy survived and was able to give a detailed description of the attacker. After that, he was treated in a hospital in the United States, with calls for financial help on television for the necessary operation. But despite the fact that the necessary amount of intestines were collected for the organ transplantation, the boy ultimately died. This crime, like the many others of Igor, was committed inside the stairwells of the apartment houses where victims lived. On the streets and in the newspapers, Igor's facial composite and his verbal description were distributed. Igor was frightened. The composite was very similar to him, which forced him to fly to Murmansk. A month later, having decided that everything had quieted down, Igor returned to St. Petersburg. Finally, on 28 November 1994, he was detained by law enforcement agencies, which by that time had amassed a vast amount of evidence against him. Igor was given up by one of his lovers. After the last assault, Igor brought the boy's briefcase home and boasted about it to his roommate. He suspected something was amiss and turned to the police. Soon, Igor was captured, and later many victims identified him. For a long time, Igor did not give any confessions. However, later he began to talk about the crimes and participated in investigative experiments. At the interrogations, he behaved inadequately and pretended to be mentally defective. Psychiatric examinations of the killer took a long time. As a result, the experts identified a number of mental abnormalities, but in general, Igor was declared sane. The case was then referred to the City Court of St. Petersburg. Many forensic experts were inclined to believe that soon Igor would begin to purposefully kill his victims, and in addition to exploitation, there would be a chain of corpses. Multiple victims and witnesses identified Igor. He was convicted of 6 assault, 1 attempted assault, and 1 murder with sexual components, and was sentenced to death. In 1999, in connection with Russia's accession with the Council of Europe, he, like all other people on death row at the time, was given life imprisonment by presidential decree. Igor died behind bars in February 2021 of heart failure, ending a life steeped in violence and incomprehensible cruelty. Igor Irtyshov's crimes shattered communities and turned children's lives into tragedies. His story exemplifies the darkest depths of human depravity, a sadistic impulse rooted in personal trauma and amplified by psychological disarray. If you found this investigation enlightening, dig deeper using our sources below and subscribe for more unsettling stories from history's shadows.